Hey friends, how are you doing? Liz Montigny here for Work It Out Wednesday. Although I think I switched my hashtag. I'll fix it later. Anyway, how are you? I am so excited. It's starting to feel like spring around here in Massachusetts, and I am just soaking up that sun. Went for a walk, sat outside while the kids were playing, all that good stuff. Get your vitamin D, boost your immune system and your mood. Go do it. Absolutely. Which brings us to the physical spoke on the wheel of life. So each week on Work It Out Wednesday, I pop on and just give you some strategies for this thing we call life. And my coaching covers basically 7 areas of your life, and whether you're talking personal or professional, these 7 areas are really what it's all about to find that balance you're looking for. It's mental, it's spiritual, it's physical, which we're going to talk about today. And physical, your body is your engine, and how persistent and consistent you are in fueling your body, and I'll also add your mind and soul, will impact your performance in every area of life. So we'll talk about that some more in a sec. There's the family, which even if you don't have children, your family is your circle of influence, your friends. Financial, you're choosing to hope and dream with those wise financial choices. Personal, your time and your energy. And career, which is actually one of the last things I work on with you in my coaching program, which sometimes people are a little curious about that. But anyway, we're talking about the physical spoke on the wheel today. And been talking about this with a few people over the past week. So I just wanted to put it out there to all of you. I mean, what if fueling your body and treating yourself well were easy? What if it were simple? What would that look like in your life? Would that give you some peace of mind? Would that lower your stress? What would that feel like? So I'll share a story with you on this that happened in my life and for my family. One of the big things is for us in the past 6 years or so, we have gone non-toxic with our personal and our home care products. And I didn't start out doing that to be like earthy crunchy or be some sort of activist or something. It wasn't even that. What I was noticing was our son, our oldest son, who at the time was maybe like 5 or so, he was constantly scratching. And I finally narrowed it down to, hey, it's got to be the laundry detergent, like what we wear every day, right? So I was like, oh man, am I really going to make laundry detergent? Not a DIYer, right? So I like to think that I am, but I'm not. So I talked to a friend, and she told me what she was using, and she told me what to look for in terms of ingredients. And then we were talking about sunscreen too, because whenever my kids put on sunscreen, they would get like rash and bumps, and it wasn't cool. So I knew we needed to make some changes, but it's overwhelming when you start to look into all that stuff, and I didn't know what to do. So she told me what she was using. I tried it. I loved it. And ever since, we have just been ingredient detectives with what we bring into our home and put on to our bodies. Now, normally when we think of going non-toxic, we think of what we're eating, right? Which is super important, right? How we're fueling our body in those whole and pure foods, absolutely. But it's also what you put on to your body, because what you put on does go in as well. So, if you're trying to make some changes, food-wise, I would also look into what you're using around in your home and on yourself, because a lot of these personal and home care products have endocrine disruptors. Okay, your endocrine system, regulates everything in your body and your hormones. So if you're trying to correct that with food, but then you're still using some toxic products, it's kind of canceling each other out there. So if you want to look into that a little bit more, I have an ingredient guide that you can go to my downloads page on the website and grab it. And I also have hard copies. So if you need a hard copy of it, you just message me, I'll get it to you. But once we made that change, my son stopped scratching, which was amazing. Our middle son, who, maybe he was like 3 or so at the time, he still had cradle cap, and that went away, and his hair got curlier, right? So all these things, and it just, I had so much peace of mind because it was a simple fix, right? I just looked at what we were doing and using every day, narrowed it down, and made some changes. And that's what it's all about when it comes to our habits for success too, right? I mean, look at what you're doing every day. How is that affecting you? And for us, it was actually like a physical thing that we needed to change so that our physical body, we could feel better and perform better. And it just gave me peace of mind. It was such a huge load off. And then just to know for the future, if I was able to, in the future, if I had to look at any other product, like I knew what I was looking for. So that was a huge help. So if you need that guide, go get it. It's super helpful. Another thing in terms of ease, I think back on my own journey with health and just wanting to feel better and look better. Like I'm still like working on losing the baby weight, and the baby is 7 years old. So it's getting better though. So anyway, one of those things is just don't underestimate small changes over time. And that is, for example, I'm one of these people who I don't have a ton of patience. I want everything to be amazing right now. And that's helpful for motivation and things like that. But it's not helpful when it comes to long-term goals and building things up, because I get really frustrated really fast. So a good trick is, if you're like me and you're like that, I would really focus on changing one simple thing a week. Change one simple thing a week that you're doing, right? So for me, when I started moving my body more, I had all these grand ideas of what I was going to do. Then I really thought about it, and I was like, Liz, what if you just start stretching every morning, or even when you feel like it, see where that gets you. And because I made that simple action and just that simple step of just try this, that action fueled me. It boosted my confidence because I was doing what I said I was going to do. It was easy. It was simple. And then as time went on, I built onto that, right? Another thing you could do is walking. It's free. It's simple. It gets you out in the fresh air, right? So I think when it comes especially to our physical selves, and I do believe that when we look better, we feel better, and vice versa, and all that stuff. Keeping it simple and building on that over time is going to bring you confidence and the most success, and you'll see the most growth. So please don't underestimate the power of just those little steps over time, and track it. Keep track of it and see how it goes. So that's what I had for you today. And next week, I'm going to be expanding on this a bit more with a special guest, Lisa Stearns, who is a fellow coach. And she has a great practice called a power down practice. And I'm going to let her get into that more with you next week when we talk about the family spoke. And I think the physical and family areas of our life are really connected, because think about it. When we are getting good sleep, when we are have good input, positive input into our minds, and when we are fueling our body well, don't we feel better, right? And what happens when you feel better? You have more energy. You are showing up as your best self for all the people in your life, whether that's family, friends, coworkers, right? So I think that's all connected, and really all these spokes on the wheel of life are connected. So you want to figure out how to, when you improve one area, you improve all areas. So I invite you, if you are feeling stuck, or if you are wanting to just grow some more, or maybe everything's going great, but you want to make sure to keep it that way, I invite you to have a conversation with me and book some time with me, and we can talk. We can have a coaching session together. And I want to know where you are now, where you want to go, and together we'll figure out a path to get there. And if it turns out we're a good fit, we can talk about that. If it turns out we're not a good fit, I'll give you the tools and resources you need to get you where you want to go. So if that sounds like something you want to dive into, please message me, or you can comment, drop a hello here and we'll chat about it. And great. I'll see you next week. In the meantime, like I said, Lisa's going to be on with us, and she's going to have just a great habit to share, and a routine that I think you can implement right away. And again, simple, right? Simple. I think we always overlook the most simple thing, because I don't know about you, but a lot of times, most of the things in my life, as I look back, have been tough and I've needed to put a lot of effort in. But what if it were just simple, right? Just look for that easiest path and try it. And that's where you can take the most action. So hope that helps you, and get that download if you need it. It is a good resource to have. And I will talk to you next week. Take care.